All right. So I finally have the presence of mind to record this while I'm going through a live session. I've always wanted to do this so I can showcase how I work through with a prompt. So this is going to be for all my financial advisor brethren out there. I'm going to do a prompt to create a set of global instructions that I will include in every mode. In Claude and I'm not sure about ChatGPT, but I know in Claude, I was able to do that in the settings where there are universal instructions that will flow through all of your chat sessions. Hazel doesn't do this, but what I'm going to do as a workaround is create something that will get embedded in each mode. So let's see how this goes. I want to make sure I have a complete, thorough, accurate, and nuanced understanding of your capabilities, your limitations, and how you've been trained to behave. New line. Tell me what most people get wrong about working with you. So I use Whisper Flow. It makes it so much easier. If you're not using that, you're wrong. So that's all I'll say about that. And we'll see what Hazel says. Okay, I paused the video because I wasn't sure if the mic would pick up whenever. Sometimes when I turn on Whisper Flow, it turns off other videos or audio. So I wanted to make sure that was working before I continued on. So the we skipped through the loading, and this is the response that we get here. Breakdown, what most people get wrong. Looks like there's 9 things. Okay. You know everything about my clients, which is, I guess, not. So this is things that they misunderstand. You know everything about my clients, which is not true. I only know what's in the connected systems. Makes sense. You'll justify. You'll just answer confidently even when uncertain. So okay, it says train to flag uncertainty, verify time sensitive data. If I'm not sure, I'll say so or look it up. Okay. You can take action on my behalf. No, I know that's not true. I mean, it can create an update task, but that's still kind of growing. Number 4, asking vague questions gets good answers. No, that's dumb. Number 5, I remember previous conversations. No, it doesn't have memory across it. So that's why you want to save notes in your CRM. I use Hazel as my CRM, or if you're using Wealthbox or Redtail, you definitely want to preload that. And actually, I'm not sure with those other ones. I think it should have all those notes. I want to say I brought mine over, so make sure that you're having it look at that whenever you're in a new session. I'll paginate through everything to find an answer. Nope, I found that out the hard way. It stops at 3 pages. So unfortunately, it doesn't, which I hope that changes over time, that it's able to look at everything. But one thing I'm doing in Claude is I've created an index page, especially for large documents like meeting transcripts, so that it catalogs it, and Claude then just goes in and reads those items first, or reads that index page first, and then it'll jump to whatever it needs to answer my prompt. And that definitely, it according to Claude, will save you 95% on token usage by using that approach. So, because with each pass, it's going to run through all that data source. So if you can tell it to narrow, hey, just look here, or go to this catalog to help you look, for the relevant data, that will make it a lot more efficient. Probably will make it faster, and will definitely save you on your usage. Yeah, for large data sets, I'll sample and extrapolate and tell you when I'm doing so. So if you need exhaustive accounts, narrow the filters. Yep, that's what I found out. I can generate charts or images in line. No, generates PDFs. Yeah, via the report tool. Can't generate standalone images, charts as images. Yeah, notice that. You can, though. One thing I've done is I've uploaded my brand kit as a PDF, and I've now put that into all the modes along with those where you can attach documents. And well, let me see if I can just show you here. Like, say in a tax return view mode, I was just using that recently. Down over here on the bottom right, you have your instructions, and then you can upload files for added context. And right here, I got the Rehoboth brand guidelines, and that's something that I use regularly. So let me see if I can go back here. Perfect. Okay. So I was saying all that to say when you have modes where you're spitting out reports, things like that, it can do it according to your brand guidelines. I treat all custodians equally. I'm configured to favor altruists as a custodian. Conversations where custodian should. Okay, didn't know that. I'm in my RA. I'm only with altruist. All my accounts are there, so it works fine for me. I think this. I don't know with. I'm not sure how relevant that is. Really, it's just. I mean, if you have accounts that are altruist, the nice thing is that it's connected with Hazel, and so it can pull that data. And I know for me, that's really helpful because it's all there in one place. If you're with Schwab or Fidelity, I mean, you can still just bring over the data manually if you have to, but you can upload that. And of course, that's just a matter of how well it integrates. There might be something coming in the future, I think, but yeah, that shouldn't be an issue. And on number 9, you know what CRM integrations I have. Okay, so it doesn't assume, but has to look it up. Yeah, probably just worth it to include that in your instructions, depending on what CRM you're using. The meta point. I work best when you treat me like a very capable but literal analyst. Specific inputs, specific outputs. The more context you front load, the less back and forth we need. Anything specific you want me to do? Yeah. This is good. Regarding your point about specific inputs, give me a template of the key ingredients that you would like to have, especially when I'm giving you a prompt with some fairly, with a, that requires some fairly complex work on your part. Yeah, let's go with that. I imagine you'll want things like the objective, what a successful output looks like, constraints, and other guidelines. I have something like this set up in Claude. That was one of the big things I learned, is that it's not just how much stuff you put in there, but are you including the right elements? So I'll just have Hazel just tell me what it needs. My daughter's telling me that lunch is ready. Apparently she was sent by my wife, so I gotta wrap up soon. Okay, so here's the template here. Objective, output format, scope and data sources, success criteria, constraints and exclusions, yep, tone and audience. I do have a separate voice guide, so that I use that for. And I also, and that basically helps write emails in my voice. And then I also have an anti-AI slop guideline to make sure it doesn't read like AI slop. Known gaps or caveats, anything I should know that might be in the system. They just sold a rental property that's not in our CRM yet, or used 20 times. Okay. Preferences, anything you want me to model after, or stylistic preferences. Okay, interesting. All right, minimum viable version. Okay, I'll get you 80% of the way there. So this is kind of what the rest matters when the stakes are high or when the ambiguity is otherwise. Follow-up questions, which slows things down. Okay, so it's just saying, it's going to get you 80% of the way there. So, okay. So that gives us a good idea of that. Okay. And then let's see. Since all of my client accounts are held at Altruist and I use Hazel as my CRM, out of the 9 points you mentioned, items 8 and 9 will not be relevant for me. So otherwise, with the remaining material, let's create a set of instructions that I will upload into every mode setup so that it operates like a set of global instructions across all of our chats. And let's incorporate that into a single PDF document. I also want you to include the Hazel prompt template that you generated as part of that set of instructions. This does not need to be a mandatory requirement for every prompt, but whenever I am asking you to do something that is more involved than what I provide in the prompt, you should do a soft pushback and ask me for that extra context so that you can produce a output that I'll be satisfied with. New line. One other thing that I want you to adopt into the instructions is the 10th man rule. I want you to provide pushback where necessary, but not in a reflexive way, with a clear idea of what the objective is and what I'm trying to accomplish and what the success criteria looks like. I want you to not withhold any apparently negative or critical feedback. You are my thinking partner, and it is important that we spar back and forth on the ideas I'm sharing with you in order to produce the best quality output. Expose any flaws, inconsistencies, contradictions, or other problems with the prompts I provide. Let me know where there's tension in conflicting things that I am asking you to do. New line. Let me know if you need to ask any clarifying questions on that 10th man principle before we bake that into the instructions. I hope it drops in here. Didn't click on the text box, but Shift Alt Z should fix that. There you go. I was going to say one other thing too that I forgot. Ask clarifying. Oops. Okay, so it asked some clarifying questions on that 10th man principle, which I figured it would. Looks like it came up with 4. So the threshold for the pushback, what happens after I push back and you override me? Okay. Scope of the rule, is this primarily for all interactions? Okay. Number 1, go ahead and do both. You can include the steelman counterposition as a section of the prompt as a FYI. The main thing is to push back when there's genuinely an issue that you see, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to just have that steelman counterposition for note. Number 2, keep a note of your pushback as part of the memory and context of the conversation, but your job is just to raise the issue so that I am aware of it. The goal here is to give me an opportunity to get off of a path pursuing a bad idea. The goal here isn't to debate in a combative way, but to have an intellectually rigorous sparring experience. Number 3, the scope of the rule will apply to only the instructions in that particular mode I create. So I will include this in every mode that I believe requires it. Go ahead and just write it in a way that you don't have to worry about where this is going to be applied. Number 4, go ahead and be direct. That's not going to be an issue with the tone. Questions are helpful too. What I would like you to do is be clear and direct about the pushback, but also give me thought-provoking questions that will help me understand the problems with the prompts I'm providing you. New line. Does that help, or do you have further questions for clarification? Nah. I got it. Okay, don't know what's going on there. Okay, that was weird. All right, I think I lost you for a second. Here, I'm trying to switch over to the Hazel screen. And here is what we got. Go away. Okay. All right, here's the PDF, 6 pages. Got the purpose section here, session memory workaround. Doesn't remember, so yeah, that's fine there. Key operating principles. We have 9 here. Okay. Data is only as good as what is connected, uncertain. So it's basically just kind of incorporating the things that people don't understand and just kind of reflecting back what Hazel's strengths and limitations are and what it means in practice. Okay. It's a Hazel prompt template. This is what I pulled over from Claude. Here are the key ingredients for a good prompt, but you don't have to plug that in every single time. So it's going to just ask for that whenever it requires it. So if I'm just putting in a quick prompt, a very short one, asking it to do something big, but not really giving it what it needs, then it will go ahead and come back with, hey, give me some of these things and I can give you your work. So just like financial planning with our clients, right? When can I retire? Well, send me your documents. Then we got reliability standards here. So these standards govern how Hazel handles facts, figures, and confidence. They're non-negotiable. Then we got the 10th man rule. So dealing with that sycophancy kind of bias. And then what Hazel will flag. what this is not. It's not a debate protocol. And then quick reference. Yeah, so this is something that Hazel's going to check for. And then that's it. Okay. So that takes care of that. And I'm going to figure out where to put this. Find me on LinkedIn, Barakat Khalili. And at some point, whenever I figure out how to save this in my other mode instructions, I'll put that up on a page where you can access it. I'll maybe drop the link here in the video on YouTube, and you can always check me out on LinkedIn. And I'm also putting together a course on how to use Claude Cowork to run the business. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'll drop that link there in the description as well. And that's going to be barakatkalili.com/advisors. So